2 armies, 40 days, not a single attack. Everyone remembers how this story ended. Almost nobody asks why nothing happened before it. A boy, a sling, a giant. That's the story we all know. But in the 17th chapter of 1 Samuel, the fight itself takes only a handful of verses. The standoff before it takes far more. This chapter is not really about a duel. It's about a war that refused to start. Start with the ground, because this battlefield is not a metaphor. You can stand on it today. The text places the Philistines between 2 towns, Soko and Azekah, with Israel camped opposite, each army on its own ridge, and a valley floor in between. All 3 are real places. The valley is the Elah. And the moment you see the terrain, the 40 days stop being a mystery. Both armies held high ground. Whoever moved first had to give it up, descend a slope, cross open ground, and climb toward an enemy already above them. In Iron Age warfare, that is not a bold attack. That is a casualty list. So neither side could attack, and neither side could leave, because the Elah is a corridor, running from the Philistine plain straight up into the highlands of Judah. Whoever held it, held the door. There is one more thing on that ridge. Overlooking the valley sits Khirbet Qeiyafa, a fortified city radiocarbon dated to roughly 1020 to 980 BC. Exactly the window this story claims to occupy. And it has an unusual feature. 2 gates. In Hebrew, 2 gates is Shaaraim, and when 1 Samuel describes the Philistines fleeing, it names Shaaraim as the road they ran down. That identification is debated, so we will claim only this: right century, right place, and a clue to its name built into its plan. Now the second question. If nobody wanted to fight, why not simply ignore the man shouting in the valley? Because he wasn't shouting insults. He was proposing terms. Read Goliath's challenge as what it actually is: a contract. 1 man from each side. The winner takes the war. The loser's nation serves the victor. That is not the arrogance of one soldier. That is a recognized procedure, what historians call single combat. And it shows up all over the ancient Mediterranean. In the Iliad, Paris and Menelaus step out between the armies to settle Troy with a single duel. It happens inside the Bible too. In 2 Samuel, 2 forces meet at the pool of Gibeon and send out 12 men against 12 rather than commit their armies. So why does a Philistine champion behave like a character out of Homer? In 2019, ancient DNA published from Ashkelon showed early Iron Age Philistines carrying ancestry traceable to southern Europe. Migration from the Aegean world, which means the way Goliath offered to fight is testimony about where he came from. His challenge has an accent. And then the irony. The Philistines wrote the rules. Their champion lost, and they handed over nothing. They ran. Which brings us to the thing hiding in plain sight. Israel already had a champion. He was the king. He was, by the text's own description, taller than anyone else in the nation, anointed for one stated purpose: to deliver Israel from the Philistines. He had the armor, he had the mandate, he had the height. And for 40 days, Saul stayed in his tent. Remember the scene from episode 2, Saul putting his own armor on a shepherd boy. Turn that image around, and it becomes the question of this entire series. Why was the owner of that armor handing it to someone else? Then watch where David goes. He walks down into the valley floor, the ground both armies had spent 40 days avoiding, and picks his stones out of the stream bed there. The place everyone else called a death trap is the place he picked up his weapons. Look at the geography one last time. 2 armies, on 2 ridges, facing a valley floor. That is not only a battlefield, that is an amphitheater. Thousands of men on high ground, looking down at a stage. This fight was always meant to be watched. Israel chose its first king by looking up at the tallest man in the country. The story ends with that man hiding and a shepherd nobody had counted walking into the open. People look at the outside. God, the text says, looks at the heart. For 40 days, What stood still in that valley was not an army, it was faith. And the moment one man walked down into it, history moved. 3 episodes, and one question we never settled. Was there anyone else in that camp who saw what David saw? Tell us in the comments.